Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract success with an almost magnetic force? It's not coincidence. It's not just hard work. It's a deliberate and consistent alignment between who they believe they are and who they choose to become. The secret lies in acting as if your goals are already achieved, not pretending, but embodying. When you adopt this mindset, the universe doesn't just notice, it responds. To reach that level of inner alignment, you must begin by understanding this. Your brain is always listening. Every thought, every word, every behavior tells your subconscious who you are. And your subconscious listens without judgment. It simply obeys. If you constantly feed it messages of doubt, fear, or hesitation, it will make those beliefs your default setting. But when you start feeding it confidence, clarity, and certainty, it begins to build a new framework for your life. Your mind is malleable. Neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to change and form new connections, proves that you're not stuck with the wiring you were born with. You can literally rewire your thoughts, habits, and beliefs to match the person you aspire to be. It starts with mental rehearsal, vividly picturing the life you want again and again until your brain accepts it as familiar. Think about athletes who train not only their bodies, but their minds. Before every race, many elite competitors spend hours mentally rehearsing the course. They see themselves crossing the finish line. They feel the wind, hear the crowd, taste victory. Why? Because mental rehearsal activates the same neural pathways as physical action. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined success and lived experience. The more you practice success in your mind, the more natural it becomes in reality. Imagine Sarah, a young woman who's always dreamed of launching her own design agency. For years, she called herself a freelancer, trying to get by. She worked hard, but spoke modestly, rarely telling people what she truly wanted. One day, she changed her language. She started saying, "I run a creative agency." She designed a logo, built a website, began dressing like a business owner, and scheduled client meetings in a downtown co-working space. She acted as if the success she wanted was already hers. Within 6 months, she signed 3 corporate clients. Her external reality rose to meet her new identity. And yet most people never do this. Instead, they rehearse their failures. They repeat stories of past disappointments. They talk about their limitations. They think about what could go wrong. That becomes their identity. But you can choose differently. You can decide to become the architect of your own life. This brings us to the power of identity. True transformation doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with becoming someone new. Let me explain. When someone says, "I'm trying to get fit," their identity is someone who's not fit. They're in conflict with their desired result. But when someone says, "I am an athlete," they take ownership. The behaviors of an athlete naturally follow. The workouts, the discipline, the nutrition. Identity drives behavior. So who are you choosing to be? Right now, in this moment, you can decide. Close your eyes and imagine the future you, the one who's already achieved the dream. Who are they? How do they speak? How do they walk? What choices do they make without hesitation? What do they no longer tolerate? Write this down. Define it in vivid detail, because clarity fuels commitment. Let's take David, for example. He wanted to become a respected public speaker, but for years he identified as someone who was shy, awkward, and not cut out for the spotlight. The moment he began introducing himself as a speaker, even before booking any gigs, things changed. He recorded mock speeches at home. He studied the greats. He joined a local Toastmasters club. Eventually, he started getting invited to speak. Now he travels the country sharing his message because he first believed it before anyone else did. The next step is language. Words are not just communication tools. They are creative tools. Every word you speak about yourself and your life shapes your belief system. If you speak in uncertain terms, "I hope this works," "I'll try my best," "maybe it will happen," you're leaving room for doubt. And doubt weakens results. Instead, choose words that command reality. Say, "I am creating a life of purpose." Say, "I will overcome this." Say, "It is already mine." Speak with authority. Your words instruct your subconscious. They program your nervous system. When you speak decisively, your entire being starts to follow. Think of the leaders who changed the course of history. They didn't use tentative language. They spoke with vision and resolve. John F. Kennedy didn't say, "We're thinking about going to the moon." He said, "We choose to go to the moon." That declaration shaped an entire nation's identity. That's the power of language rooted in belief. And belief becomes unstoppable when it's matched with behavior. That's where habits come in. The most successful people in the world don't rely on motivation. They rely on rituals, small, intentional, consistent actions performed daily. The way you begin your morning, the way you handle stress, the books you read, the way you speak to yourself. These choices add up. Consider Jenna, an entrepreneur who struggled for years to gain traction. She always felt like she was playing catch-up. Then she built a daily routine that mirrored what she imagined a successful CEO would do. She woke up at 5 a.m., meditated, reviewed her goals, exercised, and dressed for the role, even while working from home. Within months, her productivity doubled, her client base expanded, and she raised her rates. Her habits didn't just prepare her for success. They proved she was ready for it. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your systems are reactive, unfocused, and undisciplined, your results will reflect that. But if your systems are intentional, aligned, and empowering, your future begins to take shape. Let's look at Ethan, a college student who always wanted to earn top grades but struggled with time management. After hearing the idea of identity-based change, he stopped identifying as a procrastinator trying to do better. Instead, he decided to become an honors student. From that identity, everything changed. He began using a planner, eliminating distractions, studying at the library instead of his noisy dorm. Over time, his GPA skyrocketed, not because he suddenly got smarter, but because his identity shifted. Create rituals that mirror the life you want. Wake up early, even if you're not a morning person. Start your day by reviewing your goals. Dress like someone who takes themselves seriously. Speak like someone who commands their vision. Don't wait until you make it to act like it. The act of becoming is what brings the results. Let's talk about the most dangerous obstacle standing in your way: fear of failure. Most people live their entire lives avoiding it. They treat it as something final, as if one setback confirms they're not good enough. But the truth? Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every great accomplishment is littered with missteps, rejections, and moments of doubt. The key is how you respond. Do you internalize failure, making it about your worth? Or do you see it as feedback, a necessary stepping stone toward mastery? When you live as if success is guaranteed, failure becomes less threatening. You stop fearing mistakes because you know they're shaping you into someone stronger. Take Marcus, for example. He launched his first tech startup with high hopes, only to watch it collapse after a year. At first, he felt crushed, but instead of giving up, he dissected every mistake. He used the lessons to refine his next idea. That second company, it's now a 7-figure business. The failure wasn't the end. It was the ignition. History is filled with people who failed repeatedly before they broke through. Abraham Lincoln lost multiple elections before becoming president. Thomas Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. Each failure brought them closer to clarity. So ask yourself, how would you act if you knew success was inevitable? What would you attempt if you could not fail? Now let's talk environment. Your surroundings shape your identity more than you realize. Who you spend time with, what you consume, and where you invest your energy all influence your beliefs and actions. If your environment is filled with negativity, clutter, or people who don't support your growth, your potential is limited. Be ruthless about your environment. Curate it with intention. Read books that expand your thinking. Follow people who inspire action. Organize your workspace so it reflects who you're becoming, not who you've been. And perhaps most importantly, audit your relationships. Are the people around you challenging you to grow, or are they keeping you small? Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest individuals in history, credited his success to surrounding himself with great minds. He called it his mastermind group, a circle of thinkers who helped him stay focused and accountable. You can do the same. Join communities that reflect your future, not your past. Find mentors. Connect with visionaries. Proximity is power. And let's not forget the influence of your internal environment, your inner voice. The stories you tell yourself every day become your reality. If your internal dialogue is filled with criticism, self-doubt, and defeatist language, you'll never rise above your current circumstances. Begin training your inner voice to become your greatest coach, not your harshest critic. Remind yourself daily of your progress. Celebrate small wins. Reflect on your growth. When setbacks occur, and they will, reframe them. Ask, what is this teaching me? This mindset builds resilience, and resilience is the ultimate competitive advantage. Now, you might wonder, is this really possible for me? The answer is yes. But it requires more than belief. It requires action. Start living as if you already have the confidence, as if you already possess the discipline, as if your future is already unfolding as planned. This isn't about pretending. It's about training. Training your brain, training your habits, training your emotions. When you consistently act in alignment with your future identity, you experience something called cognitive dissonance, a mental discomfort from holding conflicting beliefs. Your current results and your new identity don't match, so your brain begins working to close the gap. And here's the key. Your brain always tries to resolve dissonance. If you keep acting like a successful person, thinking, speaking, and behaving like them, your brain will eventually catch up. It will adjust your beliefs, energy, and focus to align with that reality. That's how transformation works. The question isn't, will this work? The question is, will you work it? Will you commit daily to acting in alignment with the person you're becoming? Because when you do, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself around your decision. Your life is not shaped by the big moments. It's shaped by what you repeatedly do. And what you do is shaped by who you believe you are. So choose wisely. Choose boldly. Begin the process of becoming the version of you that already has it all. Speak like them. Think like them. Decide like them. And when you do, your outer world will reflect your inner world. That's not wishful thinking. That's psychology, biology, and physics working in harmony. When you live with that level of alignment, resistance fades. Opportunities emerge, confidence builds, life responds. So don't wait. Don't hesitate. Start today. Design your rituals. Rewrite your language. Align your actions. Surround yourself with people and ideas that elevate you. And above all, live as if your future is already here. Because the truth is, it is. The only thing missing is your decision to step into it fully. Once you do, the rest will follow. And when it follows, you'll wonder why you ever doubted it could happen. Because you'll see it clearly then, everything you needed was within you all along. You just had to believe it and begin.